Hello ladies, welcome back to my channel. Today's video we're going to be talking about how me and my husband switched from a 2-income household to a 1-income household. Some truths, some cold hard truths about living on 1 income, and hopefully give you some tips as well. I know a lot of the people that follow me, if you're not already a stay-at-home mom or stay-at-home homemaker, then you plan to be or you would like to be. So these are some things that you're going to have to know and you're going to have to look at. We are by no means perfect in this area at all. We have struggled with budgeting. We have struggled with finances and saving money. We've struggled just like most people do. I think if you're human, most people are not very good with finances, and it's something you have to learn, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It's something you have to learn and grow in and study up on. So we are just human, but I think we've learned some important lessons in switching from 2 to 1 incomes, and I would just like to share that with you today. So please make sure that if you enjoy this video that you subscribe to my channel so you can be notified with future videos. I plan to do a lot more videos like this about homemaking, living on 1 income, all that fun stuff. So make sure that you're subscribed, and let's go ahead and get on into the video. So I'm not going to go into too much of the backstory because I've already kind of talked about all this in 2 other videos. I did a video on why I decided to become a stay-at-home homemaker, and then I also did a video on me and my husband did a video on financial mistakes that we made in our first year of marriage. So I'm not going to go too much into the backstory on what our finances look like, why we decided to do this, all this kind of thing. But I will tell you that we had been planning on me going to, us going to a 1-income household since like December of 2018. So we kind of had a plan going on from there, and that's like my very first tip. And this is something that you have to do. There are just some things that if you're going to switch to 1 income, you have to do this thing. And that is, you have to have a plan. You can't just cold turkey throw your name badge on the counter and say I'm quitting and walk out and leave. You can't do that. If you do that, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. You have to plan. You have to look at your budget. You have to look at your bills. You have to look at what the other person makes, because if you're switching from 2 to 1 incomes, then you got to look at what your only income is. Will you be able to make it on that income? What will you have to cut? Like in our plan, that was one of the things we had to do, is we had to look at our budget and look at what we had coming out per month and cut a lot of stuff. So we sold my car. We actually just sold my car last month. Praise be to God, because that was the longest, most annoying process I have ever experienced in my lifetime. Don't ever get a car payment. Go watch our financial mistakes video because we talk about this. Do not ever get a car payment, especially if you're living on 1 income. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what any financial person says. Car payments are not worth it. So we sold my car. We got rid of that car payment. We cut our cable. We didn't have like a full cable package, but it was like $29 a month, and we never watched it, so it was a waste of money. So we cut that. I cut a subscription that I had. There was several things that we cut. There were several things that we couldn't cut up until like just recently because we were under contract. Like with our cable, we were under contract, so I didn't get to cancel that until June or July. So I had already quit work, but we were working towards getting this stuff resolved. And actually this month we're going to pay off our phone contract because we're paying too much for cell phones, and we're going to downgrade our cell phone plan to something so much cheaper that will help out so much. And also when we sold my car, our insurance came down like $110. It was crazy, the amount of insurance that we were paying out per month for 3 vehicles. It was crazy. So you're going to have to look at what you are paying out, and you're going to have to cut some things. That's part of living on 1 income. If it's important enough to you for you to live on 1 income, to stay at home, to raise your children, to be a homemaker, to run a business, whatever it is, if it's important enough to you, then you're going to be willing to cut those things for the sake of, being able to stay home. And for me, me being able to stay home has been like one of the best decisions that we ever made. And I'm not, I'm just being honest, it's been one of the best decisions that we ever made. And I'm not going to go into all the ins and outs of that because I talk about that in my other video, but it has been such a blessing for me to be able to be home, to be a homemaker, to do the things that I always wanted to do as a wife, to be able to take care of my house, to be able to take care of my husband, and just enjoy it. And plus, on top of that, with me being pregnant, like, it's been such a blessing to be home while being pregnant so that when I feel bad, I don't have to go into a job. It's been a huge blessing, but there have been so many things that we've had to just cut out because the sacrifice was worth it to us. So you have to have a plan. You have to look at those things. You have to examine your budget and make those cuts in order for you to live on one income. The next thing that you are going to have to do is you are going to have to make a budget. And like I said, we are not perfect in the budgeting department. And to be honest, we've struggled in the budgeting department, but you have to do it. You cannot not have a budget. You cannot not look at the money that you're spending each month. You have to take what you're making, your income, and you have to minus out your expenses. You have to figure out how much you're going to save. You have to figure out, what you're going to give. You have to figure out all that stuff. And it's not fun. It's not glamorous. It's not sexy. It's not fun. But you have to do it. Unless you're like a super math nerd, you're not going to enjoy budgeting, but you have to do it. And especially if you live on one income, because every bit of money that we have coming in has got to go to something. Like, we don't have a lot of disposable income. We really don't have any disposable income right now. So we have to look at everything we're bringing in and minus out everything we're spending, which is why we've been trying to get our bills down so low. And we have, for the most part. Like, the phones is like the last thing that needed to be brought down, and we're getting ready to bring that down. So we have tried our very best to bring our expenses down to the minimum, just the bare minimum of what we need, so that, we can make it on what we make. And you have to do that. And I usually, whichever one of you, if you or your husband, whichever one is better at it, like the way we do it, like our money is combined. I know not everybody that's married combines their money, but our money is combined. We have a joint account. And I'm the one who pays the bills because I'm just naturally better at it. I'm home. So because I'm home, I have the time to do that. So I'm the one who pays the bills. I'm the one who looks at the account and all that. But I will give Brennan, I'll show him, this is what we're making. This is what we're paying. This is what we have left. This is what we're doing with this. So we budget together, but I'm the one that is like the nerd. I'm the one who does the budget, lays everything out. I'm the one who looks at the bank account, all that kind of stuff. So you're going to have to figure out of the two of you, which one is better at doing those things so that you make sure that they get done. But you definitely need to be on the same page. You both need to know what's going on. We both let each other know if we're getting ready to spend money on something. We let each other know that. Like, if I see that we're getting low and we've got like the way he gets paid is a bi-weekly. So if I see that we're getting low and we're getting ready to have to spend money, we talk about it. But you have to budget. And you have to be on the same page. If it's going to work for you to live on one income, you have to budget. So you have to have a plan before you quit your job, and then you have to have a budget. My next tip is something that I've kind of already touched on a little bit, but it's that you are going to have to make sacrifices. Kind of going back to what I talked about with cutting some things, you're going to have to make sacrifices. If it's important to you for you to stay home for whatever goal that you're trying to reach, whether that be to be a stay-at-home mother or, Lucy, you okay? She's chewing a bone, and I think sometimes she gets it caught between her lip. You all right? She's fine. Anyways, whatever it is that your goal is by you staying home, if it's important enough to you, you're going to be willing to make sacrifices. So, like I said, by cutting things. Also, if you don't have the money for something, you can't buy it. As a woman and, at my house, I would love to buy so many things for my house. I would love to, buy new clothes. I would love to do XYZ. You fill in the blank. But because we live on one income, because we made that decision, I make sacrifice and just say, I'm just going to wear the clothes I have. I'm just going to use the house decor that I have. I'm going to shop my home and figure out what I can move around to change the look of it. You know, I go to thrift stores, I go to yard sales. I don't really shop brand new for stuff because it's too expensive. It is so expensive, guys. You go to Target, you spend $300 on home decor. It's ridiculous how much money stuff costs. You know, and my husband, he's made sacrifices too. One of the sacrifices that we make is we don't go out to eat all the time. We used to go out to eat a lot more when we were on 2 incomes. Now we try to limit it to like maybe 1 or 2 times a month if possible. Sometimes Sundays are hard for us, so sometimes we end up grabbing fast food, which I don't like doing. But like I said, we're learning. We're still trying to figure all this out. So we're trying to find the balance on the food thing. Food is the #1 thing that busts everybody's budget every single month. And I'm trying a new system now. And once I foolproof the system, I'm going to do a video on it. But I'm trying a system with my groceries and taking inventory and meal planning and that kind of thing in order to keep us from going out to eat. I try to cook at home every day. So, you know, that's a sacrifice. You know, you cook at home. You're home, so you should be able to cook at home. If you go out to eat, I don't know why some people say that going out is cheaper for them than eating at home, because that is just so not true. We eat at home so much cheaper than if we were to eat out. So that's a sacrifice. We had a car accident earlier in the year and the bumper on the front of my car is messed up, but the car is drivable. We don't have the money right now to fix it, so guess what? I'm driving around with a car with a busted bumper, but it's okay because that's just a sacrifice that we're making. We will get it fixed eventually when we have saved up the money to fix it, but you know, it's just one of those things. Like, you have to look at those things and think, okay, well, I wanted to stay home, so in order for me to stay home, you know, this is going to have to wait. Home decor is going to have to wait. This, that, you know, you're going to have to make those sacrifices if you want to stay home and if you're living on 1 income. I think, you know, some people probably, maybe their 1 income is like a really, really strong, great income. But I think by and large for most people that stay home, their husband doesn't make a ton of money. So you have to be realistic, you have to be practical, and a lot of times you just have to practice contentment. That's what I have found, is that I have to practice contentment and just learn to be happy with what I have, with what we have, and let it go and just wait on the rest of the stuff when we have the money for it. So my next tip is specifically for you stay-at-home ladies. You are going to have to become a home economist. So you're going to have to become thrifty. You're going to have to become like the cooking at home thing. Like, if you don't know how to cook, you need to get you a cookbook and learn how to cook. Cooking is not hard, ladies. It's not hard at all. Even if you do nothing but follow a recipe, like, it's not really that difficult. But if you don't know how to do that, you need to learn how to do that. If you know, like with my new grocery system thing, like, I'm trying to figure it out. But I'm trying to figure it out because I'm trying to be more economical with our house because I'm home. So because I'm home, like, I call to see if we can get our bills lowered. I will try to make sure that I keep the lights off, you know, when we're not using them. Try to make sure that I keep the air cut down when we're not using it. Try to do little things that will add up to savings for us. Try to make sure, you know, making sure all of our bills are paid on time. That's another job of mine. Just different things that you're going to have to do, like coupons. Like, I'm not a couponer. I've never really been good at couponing, and on top of that, like, sometimes you have to be careful with coupons because, like, you'll end up spending actually more money because this is a product that you never buy, but you're going to buy it because you have a coupon. And or like, usually I almost always buy generic brand stuff and it's cheaper. It's cheaper even than like the thing, whatever's on sale with the coupon is like a name brand. So it's more expensive even with the coupon than the generic brand. So I've never really had much success with coupons, but I know some ladies that are just couponing queens and they know how to get stuff really cheap with couponing. So if you want to go that route, learn how to be a couponer. learn how to be organized. Organization has never been like a super strong point of mine. Like, I love cleaning and I love like home organization, but like life organization has never ever been a strong point of mine. But I am striving to be more organized. I'm trying to keep things, in order and pay more attention to the important stuff and be more of a home economist, because our job is to run our household if we're staying home, ladies. So if by running your household you can learn to become a home economist and save your family some money. So that's something that you're going to have to do if you want to switch to one income. The last thing that I'm going to mention is that in some cases you may have to find extra income. And so by this, what I mean is you may have to pick up a part-time job, or you may have to find something you could do to work from home, or you may have to start selling some things to bring in extra income. I know that that's not an ideal situation, because if we want to stay home, we don't want to go out to a job. Now, if you can work at home, I think that's great. That's what I'm working towards, is being able to make money from home. I've got several different avenues that I'm trying to make money from home at. It's very hard if you're doing it organically to make money from home, but I think if you can do that, that's great. Some women do have to get a part-time job, or maybe you have to babysit, or maybe you have to clean houses. But in certain situations, you do have to bring in extra income. Another thing is you need a savings account. We built up a good savings account before I quit my job, which was a really good thing because we had several unexpected expenses, and also we didn't sell my car before I quit my job. So having some extra savings and some extra cushion did help us get through some of those months that were tough to get through. And plus, you just need a savings account in case something goes wrong, in case something breaks, in case something, minor happens. You need to have some kind of cushion to fall back on. And I know, like Dave Ramsey recommends that if you're trying to get out of debt, that you should have $1,000 emergency fund saved up. And he said that that's just your starter emergency fund. And then when you get out of debt, he wants you to save 3 to 6 months expenses. So depending on where you're at in your journey, you want to make sure that you have a savings account in place. We're kind of in between because we just paid off my car. So we're kind of trying to figure out, because my husband changed his job, we're kind of trying to figure out what our money situation is going to look like. We're trying to figure out what we can save so that we can bulk up our emergency fund, but you definitely need to have a savings account. But going back to the extra income thing, during a couple of those months where I still had my car payment, I tried to hustle up some extra money for those months by selling some things. I had several things around my house that I felt like I could get some money for, and I sold them on Facebook Marketplace and made the cash to make the car payment. So sometimes you're going to have to look for ways to just make extra money. Even if you don't go get another job, if you're short on money that month, there are different things you can do. There's so many things that you can find online, so many ideas. I've heard of women that go to places like Goodwill and thrift stores. They buy furniture, they redo the furniture, and they flip it online. I've never had much luck with that here, but certain people do just strike gold with that. Some women go to Goodwill, they buy designer clothes, and they flip them on eBay. So you may have to look for something that you can do to pull in a little bit of extra income, because who couldn't use a little extra income, especially if you're a one-income family. But that is something that you may want to look into, or you may have to do. I'm not shaming anybody for any decision you make. If you live on 2 incomes, I'm happy for you. If you live on 1 income, I'm happy for you. I think everybody has to do what's best for their family and just what makes them happiest. What makes us happiest is for me to be home. And even though living on 1 income, to be totally honest with you, is not always fun. It's not always, easy to live on 1 income. Sure, we have some times where we worry and we struggle, but it's worth it to us for me to be home. And so I just wanted to share some of these ideas with you, some of these things that you're going to have to do if you want to live on 1 income. It is completely doable. If you don't have a ton of debt, because I realize some people have a lot of debt and it may not be possible for you to make the switch now. But if you want to work towards that, you're going to have to work towards paying off the debt. But if you don't have a lot of debt and you want to stay home, Don't think that it's impossible. Don't think that it's something that you could never do. It's perfectly doable. You're just going to have to, like I said, do these things. Make a plan, make a budget, make sacrifices, make cuts to your budget. And you can do it. If it's worth it to you, you will make the sacrifices to make it doable. But like I said, I just wanted to give you some encouragement since we have been doing this for almost 4 months now. We've learned a lot of stuff, even though, like I said, we're not perfect at it. We don't know everything about it. We're still working towards, a better future. We're working towards learning more and just growing our financial state. But I just wanted to share some of what we've learned, and hopefully this helps you if you are planning to switch to one income. Like I said, if you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe before you leave my channel, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!